Previously on Paisal.
Hi, my name's Paige. What would you say is the life lesson that is most valuable that you've learned?
Nice to meet you face to face, Jessal. Please tell me more about Sam Harris. So I thought for this episode we could talk a bit about 3 movie dates that we had in particular. You suggested the first film.
Yes. In hindsight, it probably wasn't the best movie to choose for the first movie date. Would you agree?
It was an interesting choice. Would you like to elaborate?
The movie was A Star is Born, the one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. The movie basically has a portrayal of a couple who don't really have a healthy relationship, and it ends in a bit of a tragedy.
I remember sitting next to you, just very, very rigid, like... I don't think we didn't touch at all. I was just like...
I'm pretty sure I was like that as well. But.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't have even known how you were because I was so focused on how I was feeling. So selfish.
Yeah.
But obviously it worked out.
I mean, we made it through.
We made it through.
Was it just the movie that we saw?
We went to a place in the city afterwards.
Was
just
that
had a chat in like a Pig and Whistle or Jimmy's on the Mall or
okay.
one of those sorts of places.
I think it was Pig and Whistle because it was only one floor, so it couldn't have been Jimmy's.
There was an awkward situation that we're not going to talk about, so let your imagination run wild.
Maybe I do want to talk about it. Just I guess I had a beer and it didn't go down well, or it just upset my stomach a bit, so I had to go to the washroom.
You disappeared, and
Yeah.
I didn't really know what was happening apart from you were going to the bathroom.
Well,
and I was...
I think that there was also a situation where the bathroom...
There was nothing nearby.
No, the one that was nearby was closed, and I had to look for another one.
Yeah.
So I think that also increased the length.
I think I was sitting there by myself thinking, oh no, has he done a runner?
Oh boy. Was that a joke?
No. There was absolutely no reason for me to think that.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, it's taking a while.
I guess
maybe they're not coming back.
you didn't understand when I said, was it a joke? Do you understand now?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I came back.
You came back. We had a chat for ages, and I had moved. I was no longer house sitting and pet sitting in Toowong. I was then hanging out in my friend's spare room in Paddington. When I didn't have my own place, there were a few friends who would let me stay at their place in between pet sitting gigs, because pet sitting didn't always line up with the next one exactly. And when I did organise it too close together, sometimes I had to be looking after 2 sets of pets in different suburbs on the same day, and it was incredibly stressful. So I started to try to space it out.
That's a smart move.
You, after that, went to Fiji for, I think, a family wedding or a friend's wedding, or...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a friend's wedding.
It was while you were away there that I was chatting to some of my friends who I was staying with. I was getting their advice, basically, like, oh, you know, this is who I've met, this is what we've done. and I don't really know what the deal is.
What the deal is.
What the deal is.
The dealio.
They suggested to me, they're like, well, just see about catching up when Jessal comes back from Fiji. And you said yes.
Yeah.
Again. And we went
You
to...
say again.
Well, yeah, because
No, I was just
I
checking
would
if
suggest
that's the word.
something and you would say yes. And
No, I was just checking if that's the word you used.
yes.
Because I didn't hear it properly.
Oh, no. Hopefully the microphone heard it.
Oops, sorry. You shouldn't do that in a microphone.
What did you...
Exhale. Oh my god.
I think I saw you on the first day you came back.
The
It was like a weekday or something. I think you came back in the morning.
Yeah,
And
so
then-
I would have had the day off when I got back. So
Yeah.
So it would have been the day I came back.
Yeah. And we had burgers and fries.
Did you have a burger or did you have the Philly cheesesteak?
I probably had the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, and I remember
So-
saying I'll probably have that next time. I don't think we've
And
been
we didn't go back.
for a while.
Yeah. You went back with other people, but not with me, I think.
I thought we went back again.
Oh, maybe. I remember being there with Navneet.
Yeah, so we went back there before everyone got there and had something to eat. But yeah, we haven't been back. We haven't been to the place too often.
We had a very funny conversation, in my opinion.
Funny.
There? Yes. We were discussing the wedding that you had been to and people asking you when you're going to get married.
For context, that had been happening anytime I'm interacting with relatives.
Yeah.
And
Not just at weddings. Yeah.
at weddings, it would be
Worse.
very concentrated because that's where a lot of family would be gathered. So yeah, you get that question asked a bit more often.
Yeah. And I was curious, so I was like, oh, what do you say to that?
Basically, because I had been asked that question for so much, I'd basically say no, I'm not getting married.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I felt so uncomfortable because I felt like I wanted to at some point. Obviously, we didn't know each other very well. But I think for me hearing that, I was like, oh, if this goes well, even then I won't get married. Oh, that's a bit sad. My mind just jumps so far forward in time and works out all these different possibilities all the time. I have all these maps and connections in my head. I would be interested to know if you saw any of that on my face.
I don't think so. No, until you told me later on. Another piece of context would be the culture I come from. Basically, when you say you're getting married, or you're meeting up with someone, it's basically implied that either you're getting engaged or married. In like you're already, if you're seeing someone, you're already basically engaged.
Yeah.
And then marriage isn't too far away from that. And also, I had also seen or had people in my life who've not had a very good experience with marriage.
Yeah.
I always thought that getting married isn't the most important thing. Having this relationship at the beginning and being able to live with the person before any of the marriage or anything happens was the most important thing. So it's difficult to explain that mentality from the culture I come from.
Yeah, well, you obviously explain it well right then. And I think it's more
It's not
that
the norm.
it was like the third time we'd seen each other. So quite naturally, we didn't know that much about our backgrounds. Even though we had spent hours and hours and hours talking, none of it was really personal.
It's just the stuff we watch and all that and listen
Yeah,
to.
working out what our shared interests are, seeing if there was enough overlap. Very soon after that, maybe the next week, I suggested a film, and I had no idea what sort of film to suggest. You were like, oh no, I'm not interested in seeing that. I can be a bit envious or jealous of you in that respect of, it's like you didn't feel the pressure to go and see something that you didn't want to see. That's a pressure that I had always felt, where if my friends were going to see a show or something that I didn't want to go to, I would still feel pressured to go, even though I knew it wasn't something that would interest me.
No, I want to.
But
know
you were
what
just like, I don't want to go to this movie you suggested. But then you did suggest.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That, I think that was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Or still is.
We went that time to my favourite cinema, which was a refurbished old Irish pub. That's a nice sort of thing for me because I love movies, and I used to have a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol, and it's been quite a few years that I've not had alcohol. So it's kind of fitting that my favourite cinema used to be a pub.
I really want to know what movie it was that I said no to.
We can discuss that later on.
No, I forget.
Because I remember what it is.
Okay.
I remember what it was. So I was very excited to introduce you to this cinema, and you were very excited to introduce me to this film. I do remember very clearly, even though this was 2018 and we were recording this at the end of 2021,
Almost.
we were actually on the other side to each other.
Yes.
And
Because you like the aisle seat.
yes, I like the aisle seat. I mean, I am flexible. I will sometimes sit in other spots if I have to. But if I have a choice, halfway back near the aisle.
Well, I guess it depends if it's just us. Also, I think it depends on how the seating is structured. The smaller cinemas, you don't normally sit in the aisle. Bigger cinema,
Yeah.
that's what I've noticed.
There was not a moment in that film that I wasn't acutely aware of the fact that our arms were touching. But at the same time, I was blown away by the film. It was so overwhelming. It was amazing and unexpected. I think you had some expectation of what it would be, but I had no idea.
I don't think you'd seen the trailer. Oh, the cinema experience for that movie is quite something
Yeah.
because of how original the animation was at the time.
They've made other things with that
That
technology now. But yeah, they had to build it themselves to be able to make.
Yeah, so
The film.
the most recent example of that is Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Which was originally meant to be called Connected.
Yes. Something else was called Connected after that.
Yeah, I think there was a streaming TV show or something about
Oh, yeah.
social media. So
Documentary, yeah.
it was really wonderful. I was so happy to experience that film with you, and I immediately wanted to see it again.
I think we did.
We didn't see it immediately again,
Yeah.
but we did go back and see it. Shortly after that was the first hug that we had, which was a lovely experience. So we had had pretty awkward goodbyes up until then, but then we had a text exchange about our awkward goodbyes, and I think you indicated that if I initiated a hug, you would like it, but maybe you wouldn't in the moment.
No, I think it was. I would normally not be the person who initiates that sort of thing, because like I said before, I can't read signals or stuff like that. So I don't want to make a situation awkward by doing that.
Hugging someone who doesn't want to be hugged is
I know.
pretty awful.
Yeah.
I had an experience at work. A new colleague went in to hug me. I physically went like this.
It's always difficult asking that question as well,
Yeah.
for me at least.
I think I've gotten,
I don't think I ever asked that question. I let the other person ask.
yeah. I mean, that's a great way to do it. If you either assume no hug or let the other person ask.
But that also causes a situation where if the other person isn't used to asking that question but going in for the hug anyways, and you don't reciprocate, it creates an awkward situation.
In my time on Earth as a human being, I have discovered that there are an unlimited number of ways that you can behave to make a situation more awkward.
Yes.
Bit of wisdom for you. I think a nice way to end this episode would be to talk about the umbrella incident,
Oh, you mean Resident Evil?
not Umbrella Corporation.
That was a joke.
I don't know whether it was before or after a film.
It would have been
After a film?
because we would have been in that area. I don't know if we would have gone back to Corbin and Claude or something.
Because we got to know the waiter.
I thought you already knew the waiter.
We had interacted with each other a few times.
Okay, yeah. So
So it was raining a little bit, and I actually had my umbrella, and I used my umbrella, which is something I don't usually do.
I realized that later.
I usually, when it's raining, I keep my umbrella nice and dry.
Yeah, that's exactly how you're supposed to use it.
So we were walking. You didn't have an umbrella. I had an umbrella. So I was like holding up my umbrella. And then we went and sat somewhere and just...
You skipped on.
We were walking.
Yes, and it stopped raining, I think.
Yeah. And like I closed it and I was like touching the back of your legs with my wet umbrella. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what?
It was pretty.
What is going on?
It was pretty cold. I wasn't wearing a jumper or anything.
I think that opened the floodgates to the silliness that steadily has increased over the last 3 years.
Yes, it very much has. It very much has.
We do have some very, very silly experiences to share with you over the next little while. But alas, it is time to say bye for now. Bye for now.
That's not my name.